Hello everyone and welcome. With the free 10 rolls for the 3 Haregi banners coming very soon, it's about time that I get into, the decision making that goes into deciding which of these banners you actually want to roll for. As a TLDW, I'm gonna go into quite the detail with these, but if you want the short version of it, if you like any of these characters really much, way more than the others, just roll for them. Just roll for the character you like. Otherwise, if you want a character that fits well into the meta, roll for Hadiki Mitama. If you want a tank that doesn't really fit into the current meta currently, but is still a rather strong unit in their own sense, roll for Harigi Sayaka. I can't think of a reason to roll for Harigi Madoka herself, but you could roll for that banner still if you want specifically this Memoria. And that's the short version of it. But let's actually go and look at these a little bit more closely. Why did I just say the things that I just said? So we're going to start out very quickly, just giving a very quick overview of Haregi Madoka. She's a support type with alright stats. Her connect is decent. Her Magia is a Magia that is supposed to be spammed. And the thing is, regular Madoka had a very similar Magia that also was something that you tried to spam. However, with the MP nerf, it now means that Magia spamming for both Madoka and for Haregi Madoka has become a lot worse. So this is now suddenly something that isn't nearly as powerful as it once was before the nerf. And even comparing the two, we can see that this is something that is supposed to be a little bit more aggressive with the chance to darkness. And it has aim resistance, which doesn't really matter too much. But overall, I would call this an inferior Magia to Madoka, because Madoka has a damage cut on the Magia. And if you just get like 2 or 3 Magia, even just 1 or 2 Magia out, it will make your entire team almost unkillable. Meaning that regular Madoka's Magia spam was so incredibly goddamn powerful that you just needed a Madoka and maybe another Madoka and you could beat anything. Of course, now with the MP nerf, regular Madoka is also hit by that pretty hard. But what does Harigi Madoka even have over that? Not really a whole lot. Not really a whole lot. She's like a poor version of regular Madoka, and that's weird because this is the limited character and she's somehow worse than regular Madoka. Go figure. The Spirit Enhancement, it's not that great. The only thing that's really noteworthy is the fact that she gets attack down to all enemies for 1 turn, which is like a diet Meteor Rain, like a really diet version of it, which can be nice sometimes, and only has a 6-turn cooldown. So overall, it's decent, I guess. So overall, she's just not that great of a unit, and yeah, that's basically it. She's not that great of a unit. However, of course, on her banner there's a bunch of other Memoria, and of course, well, she has a personal, but the personal isn't that great anyway. But there's a bunch of Memorias on her banner. There's this one, which is quite alright if you're fighting a singular powerful enemy, or if an enemy is about to use their Magia. Like, for example, let's say you're going into 100 Evils, or you're going into an EX challenge quest that's pretty hard, and you see an enemy is maybe about to use Magia. Plop this on that enemy and that Magia is going to do like 0 damage. Okay, it's going to do like 250 because 250 is the minimum amount of damage you can deal. But it's going to do basically no damage. You're going to be completely safe. Even if it's a Magia that's supposed to kill all your units with like 50,000 damage hits, you will still push them down to like 1,000 damage or something with this. It's kind of going to be kind of ridiculous. So yeah, this is pretty good for that. Otherwise, not that amazing because it only hits 1 enemy, and Meteor Rain does comparatively better, probably because it goes on all enemies and only has a 5-turn cooldown. Anyway, they also have this. I mentioned this earlier. It's not that this Memoria is super duper awesome, amazing, super duper great, but out of all the Memoria that are gonna be on these Haregi banners, it's probably the best one. So it gives 25% damage up on MLB, which is quite a lot, which is actually quite good. Like, this is actually the really good part, and has a secondary part to dazzle on attack, which is fine. It can be nice defensively if you hit an enemy with this and they miss a bunch of attacks. That's awesome. Otherwise, you can kind of, I guess, use this offensively to trigger Addict Killer and of course get the bonus damage to weak element, blah blah. But since it's a 20% chance and only after you attack on your turn, it's really hard to actually use this in any sort of planned way. This is something that's just gonna randomly happen and you can't really control it. So using this offensively is going to be really hard. However, keep in mind that oh, that's really cute. So that makes this Memoria really good. It also has this Memoria on here, which I guess is actually somewhat decent for a 3-star Memoria. I mean, excellent peaking up 70.5%. You know, well, that's actually not that bad, but still not that amazing. Next up, though, we have Hadiki Mitama. What's she like? Well, she's also kind of a support. It's actually she's balanced type. She really is a support. with way better stats than Hadiki Madoka, because Hadiki Madoka is a support and so gets way less stats. But with Hadiki Mitama supposed to be a balance type, that makes her stats way better. Oh my god, these stats are so much better. If we look at the connect is similar, and that also gives HP restore and some damage up, but hey, it also gives added killer, which makes this a way better connect. Awesome, like a way better connect. Like if the enemy has a status ailment on them, this is gonna deal ridiculous amounts of damage just with the connect. And guess what? The Magia applies status ailments to all enemies that even last for multiple turns. Awesome. So this is a character that is a lot more consistent in itself, and that it has a setup with itself that allows you to deal a lot of damage. Wait a second, this is actually really good at support. Why is she a balance type? Why is she a balance type? She's really good at supporting. I don't know. But yeah, her doppel actually is kind of alright too, I mean, compared to Magia, because now her poison and Magia seal lasts for an additional turn, which is fine. I like it when doubles actually have better effects on them than just Magia. So yeah, that's pretty alright. By the way, it also deals damage compared to regular Mitama's Magia, which doesn't deal damage, but therefore regular Mitama's Magia has attack up on it to all allies, which makes regular Mitama a better support still. But she's doing pretty well too. She's doing pretty well too. She gets like the attack up, added killer combo on the connect, which is really awesome with an HP restore. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Spear Enhancement, on the other hand, is also, interestingly enough, has some use. It gives 70% damage cut to self, which is really good to survive, because, you know, you're trying to have your support survive. It also has damage cut themselves and chance to darkness on attack, which, once again, if you're connecting to someone, you're not going to be able to trigger this yourself, but still, it's nice to have. And it gives attack up to all allies for 1 turn on the active. Wait, that's pretty good. It's pretty alright. It's only 10%, but still, it's interesting that there's one of the very few characters that can buff other characters. So overall, she's pretty decent. But guess what makes her even better? She has Excel Draw as a personal. Yeah, it's a 13-turn cooldown, which is really fucking weird, because Mikage is an unlimited character that also has Excel Draw personal that has like a 5-turn cooldown, maybe even 4 turns. It's like really short. But yeah. So with that Excel Draw on there, she also fits really well into basically any Magia team, and she's pretty good at supporting as well. I mean, her Magia is not as good as most other Magia supports, but still, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So overall, she's a decent unit that fits really well into a Magia team. And guess what? With the current meta, you want to have a Magia team. So yeah, she fits really well into the current meta because she's a Magia support with that has Excel Draw. Awesome. What about the Memorial that are on here? You have Food Stall Paradise, which looks a bit weird because I have both Excel up and Blast up, and I guess they're kind of thinking about, what if you're playing an Excel team that has high attack and sometimes uses Blast? You're not winning because of those blasts. Like, you're probably not even going to use those blasts. You're probably going to use Charge instead. Like, on an Excel team, you're using Charge instead of Blast, right? So you actually wanting to use a Blast is very rare, and even if you do, it's not going to nearly do as much damage as like an actual blaster would, and the 30% damage up on the blast is not going to change that at all. Like, your blasts are not going to actually do much compared to you blasting the crap out of them, not with blasts but with Magia instead. However, funnily enough, this is a really cool, actually probably definitely a Memorial that I would put, if it's MLB, on a character that has Blast Salutation, which is the Blast MP on hit. So if you have like Final Tart, for example, this works really well on her because blast damage up 30%, so you get the damage bonus and you get Excel and PK bonus up. Not that important, of course, the Excel itself. However, if you're like specifically playing a Final Tower to get to Magia and you have like 1 or 2, you don't draw all of her blast discs on there, and you're using like 1 or 2 of her Excel discs. She only has 1, but if you're using an Excel disc on her, or you connect an Excel disc to her, guess what? It's gonna have the 15% Excel and picking up. Hey, that's actually quite alright. And Anti-Bind is also nice to have on an offensive character, like an offensive blast character. Yeah, so this actually works kind of somewhat alright on a blast citation character, but overall, still not actually that great of a Memorial. It only works on like 1 or 2 characters, and even on those, it's only kind of good. We also have this is the 3-star Memorial, which is pretty good. I don't know, like 20% attack up to self for 3 turns and the defense up as well. That's actually really good for a 3-star Memorial. This is probably one of the best 3-star Memorials in the entire game, but of course, it's limited to just that gacha. So I guess if you really want a 3-star active Memorial that is pretty good for some reason, then yeah, you could actually go for this. And then we have Harigi Sayaka, who is a defense with really good defense on here. but still respectable attack and also really good HP. So yeah, she's going to be a tank, which means that, hey, she's going to have some really defensive stuff. She gives survive on her connect, which is good, but it still gives attack up and defense pierce, so she still has really good offensive options on her connect. With her Magia, we see it gives survive, it gives crit, so once again we have both the defensive aspect, but still at least some offensive stuff in here. So overall, yeah, she can do defensive stuff, she can do offensive stuff a little bit. She's got the provoke to herself. In PvE quests, she starts with a survive that lasts until it gets triggered. She generates HP, she starts with not 30 but 22.5 MP on battle start. She can heal herself to full every 10 turns. Like, yeah, she's super duper amazing at tanking while still allowing herself and other characters around her to deal at least some damage. So yeah, she's really decent at being a tank with the offensive options. Probably one of the best tanks in the game, maybe even the best tanks in the game. I mean, some people might say, but what about Sudachi? Well, the thing is, Sudachi is good not because she's a tank. She's good because she gets to Magia fast. Like, Sudachi is not someone that I view as a tank. Sudachi is someone that I view as a fast Magia user. Anyway, besides that, like, if you're looking for someone to just soak up damage and not die while still having other good options to her, Harigi Sayaka fucking amazing. Here's the thing though, she's one Excel disc and she doesn't really get to excel that fast. In case you don't know about defense type, how that actually works with the MP generation, Excel type, defense type, where is it? Defense type has absolutely terrible MP buildup. Yeah, look at that. You get 80% of the regular MP that you usually get, compared to a Magia who gets 120% MP when attacking, meaning that a Magia type, I mean, it's pretty extreme, but still, a Magia type gets like 50% more MP than a defense type when attacking with an Excel disc. Oof. And even when they get attacked, a lot of other characters get more MP than a defense type. So defense types, they really don't get to a Magia that fast, and she only has one Excel disc. And guess what? In the current meta, you want to get to Magia because Magias are really powerful and doubles are really powerful, and she has a really hard time getting to Magia. I mean, sure, she starts with a bunch of Magia, but a bunch of MP, but that was nerfed. So this is nerfed now. This is not even as strong as it used to be, and she only has one Excel bonus on here. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. So overall, she just doesn't fit well into the current meta. She's a powerful unit, but doesn't fit into the meta, and that's kind of sad. If you really think that, hey, maybe someday pure tanks are going to do well. And by the way, the reason why you can roll for her if you think that, but the reason why tanks aren't really that important right now, is because if you have a Magia that just gives damage cut like regular Madoka, your team is already unkillable. Or if you have a Magia that just gives defense to all units, you're already unkillable. You're not gonna die if your entire team has like plus 80% defense or plus 80% damage cut. You're just not gonna die. It's impossible. You're invincible at that point. So what do you need a tank? What do you need a tank for at that point? Your team is already unkillable. If you play a stall team, it takes like a Kaku and a Madoka to already be unkillable. You don't need a tank for that. You really don't need a tank to be unkillable in this game. Throw meter rains into the mix. If you just have meter rains, you don't need tanks anymore because you're not gonna get killed. There's so many ways in this game to basically be invulnerable, and the easiest way of doing that, I say easy, but if you have it, meter rain alone already keeps your team alive forever. Who needs tanks, right? So yeah, but if you believe that maybe someday the meta is gonna change, I doubt it. But if you feel that maybe someday the meta is gonna change, you can roll for Sayaka Harigi and she's gonna do great. What about the other memoirs on here? Well, it's a personal. It's fine. It's actually fine for tanking, that is. But like I said, tanking is not that important. Then we have the Foster Memoria, which is interesting enough, specifically actually kind of alright on a pure charging team. So if you have a charging team that of course must have Sister Momoko on it, you can throw this on Sister Momoko herself and it will actually be really awesome. Like if you put this on Sister Momoko and you have like 2 or 3 turns where you can do really good damage, hey, this is going to be amazing. So on a full charge team, this is amazing. I don't know why this is on Haregi Sayaka, because I guess you could play her on a charge blast team, but she's not going to do that well on her because once again, you don't need tanks. But yeah, this is amazing on those. And then you have these heterosexual thoughts must end. No, that's actually literally what the text is about. And it's not that great. This one's not that great. But yeah, so overall now we've looked at everything that is on these 3 banners. We had Harigi Sayaka, like I said, good tank, doesn't fit into the meta with these Memoria that are some of this is really awesome on charge teams, but the other one's not that amazing. I mean, her personal is alright. And then we had Hadiki Mitama, who fits really well into the current meta, has Accelerator, awesome, amazing. She's a decent support, not that great, but still a decent support, and has a weird 4-star memo that doesn't really fit on most anyone, and a 3-star Memoria that is somehow way better than the 4-star Memoria and still really awesome. And then we have the Harigi Madoka, of course, who is a not great unit at all with a bad personal, a really amazing one-target debuffing Memoria. I don't know, this is really weird. And then a really good offensive passive Memoria on there, and another one that is decent. So yeah. That was an overview over everything. So yeah, that was hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're now able to figure out what you're gonna roll for. I actually don't know what I'm gonna roll for myself yet, and I don't only have a few more hours to figure it out. That said, hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.